Good evening. Welcome to the City of Sugar Land City Council meeting for Tuesday, May the 4th. A little bit about the meeting tonight. First, we're going to have an invocation, followed by the pledge. After that, we're going to do a special recognition. There are 4 recognitions tonight. After the recognition, we'll do the canvass of the election, followed by Councilmember Porter will have the floor to say goodbye to everybody. Then we'll do the oath of office for the council members. We'll seat the council members, all the district council members. Then we'll do a little bit of a photo op. People will have about a minute to kind of say, we've got a lot of visitors here. I think everybody wants to thank everybody. We'll take probably 15, 20 minutes to get that done, take photos, and then we'll kind of let everybody, those that want to leave can leave. I don't think you're going to want to stay for the entire agenda, but you're more than welcome to, and then we'll take up normal council business. Sound like a plan? Okay. Councilman Kermali.
Please bow your head with me. Dear God, the God of all gods, the most beneficent, the most merciful. First, let me say thank you on behalf of all of us who are gathered here today during these unprecedented times. God, we ask that you bless and watch over a long-standing pillar of our city and community, Councilmember Steve Porter and his wife Nancy. Guide, protect, and inspire him and his family in all their future endeavors. We also ask that you bestow our newest city council member, Suzanne Watley, and give her the wisdom, the right judgment, knowledge, and understanding to move our city to greater heights. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. God, we ask that you keep all of our men and women of our armed forces and our first responders of our fantastic city safe as we see light at the end of the tunnel with vaccines rolling out nationwide. Protect our healthcare heroes as they continue to take care of the ill and continue to work in these very unprecedented times. We ask that you continue to guide us along the right path, the path which you have chosen, and keep us under your protection and grace. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since we've got some guests tonight, before I introduce the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, a number of years ago, we decided that we wanted to engage the youth of the city. And the way that we decided to do that was to have a more or less something that they could sign up for and go through a series over a period of time and get to know every director and every function that the city of Sugar Land does. This year, because it was more or less virtual, we had a chance to invite more people than we've ever had before. Paulina, where are you? Okay, come on up, Paulina. And we had how many this year, Paulina?
52.
We had 52. We normally have around 35 because that's about how many we can accommodate. So there was a little bit of a blessing for the COVID restrictions, and that was we got to have a greater number of people that we hope will be certainly successful in whatever venture they choose after high school, but hopefully we'll get some of them back as mayor and council members. Or in state government, Lord forbid you'd want to do federal government, but if you want to do that, I'll be happy to help you. So, Paulina, you're going to introduce our 52 Sugar Land students. They're from 12 different local high schools. And we do that on purpose. We want a representation, a cross-section, if you will, from all of Sugar Land. So, Paulina, please introduce our guests.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor. I want to join the Mayor in thanking everyone who donated their time for our program. The different staff from City Secretary, ENS, Police Department, Fire, as well as the members of the City Council and the City Manager who lent their time and shared their experience with us. So thank you to everyone as well on my team in communications and community engagement. You all know who you are. Special thanks to Abby, Rachel, Kylie, Sylvia, and Terrell, and the staff on the panel yesterday, including Assistant City Manager Doug Brinkley, Chief Pat Hughes, Gabe Levine, and Councilmember Lane. I'm very proud of this class for their resilience and their hard work. Even through a global pandemic and applying for college and soon burnout, the students remain committed to this program and they did an amazing job. I'm very proud of all of them. I'm very happy to have met you all, at least the 10 of you, 11 of you in person for 20 minutes. I'm sure you will go on and do great things. So I would like to recognize, I should have Nora, Rami, and Christine Yuan on the screen. They're going to help me out with the roll call of the students. I would also like to mention Sarosh Nurani. All three of them held leadership positions within the class, as well as other students who held moderator positions for the different sessions that we had. They all did an amazing job in representing the class. So we'll have Christine and Nora, followed by some remarks from Nora, who's our chair. And then when you hear your name, like I said, just come on up. I'll give you your certificates. We'll take a quick picture. And that's it. So I'm going to hand it over to Nora to start reading the names.
Hi everybody, I'm super excited to be recognizing all these amazing MIAC folks. So to start off with, we have Caleb Abraham. And will these people be turning on their cameras to go on, or should I just go through the list?
You can just go through them. If I don't know if we can see the rest of the students, so they can wave.
You've got somebody else on there too.
Oh, if not, you can just flip through the names.
Okay, perfect. We have Sophia Ahmad, Zain Ali, Meha Amirthalingam, Turgai Anbasari, Sophia Aziz, Rina Bhatia, Ashman Bhatnagar, Joseph Kanjemi, Neha Chandran, Ahika Chawla, Yashna Chokaraku, Chloe Kaufman, Strahendra Daradia, Race Denner, David Apega, Matthew Fole, Lena Ganguly, Harrison Golden, Noor Hassan, Abai Iyer, Anshumi Jabri, Christy Johnson, Priya Kulkarni, and Sophia Wood. Would you like to continue, Christy?
Yes. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take that as a yes. Wait, Nora, which name did you stop off with?
I ended with Sophia Libby.
Okay. So after Sophia Libby, we have Danielle Luna, Amin Maknogia, Aditha Mahed Rafu, Abigail Malish, Hannah Wynn, Sarosh Nurani, Halima Olaye, Reina Parikh, and Julie Purvatla, Shantanu Raghavan, Sarabi Ragmalingam, Nora Rami, our wonderful chair, and Anisha Basavnethi, Sanjay Ravindran, Taylor Reeves, Michelle Shaw, Riju Shaw, Ariana Shekhani, Sarah Shekhani, Grace Singleton, Akil Thomas, Disha Uta, Safina Burani, Akshara Burfagiri, Alvin Wu, Amin Beza Yu, Madison Young, Joshua Yu, Tom Yu, and finally myself, Christine Yuan. Yeah, so sorry if I butchered y'all's names, but congratulations to finishing this wonderful and amazing MIAC program. I know I had a wonderful time just getting to know all the councilmen and all the people, and thank you so much, Nora, for also serving as our wonderful MIAC chair, and Miss Paulina and our wonderful councilman.
Christine, Nora, thank you. Oh, okay. Well,
And Nora, if you would mute your background noise so we can hear you better through the mic, please.
Sorry, did you say you had trouble hearing me?
Yes, there's some background noise on your screen. If you could mute that, please.
Yes. Okay. Is that better?
much better.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sorry, I think there was like some meetings happening elsewhere in my house. We know with the virtual world, it seems that everybody's online these days. But I did want to close this amazing MIAC cohort with a couple of remarks. I know that we've all been online, so I've only been able to meet you guys through small little Zoom squares, but each one of you guys have made amazing inputs. I know a couple of our council members were there yesterday when we proposed our city policy, and each one of us have gotten really involved in local government. I can say from my experience, as well as a lot of other members here, each one of us realize how much work goes into making our community run. And the place that we call our home is much more than just a home. It's a community, and it's the efforts of so many city council members, so many community leaders, so many just members of our community have worked so hard to put this together. And so I can tell you that MIAC has given me a newfound appreciation for my community and the catalyst to step forward in order to help change it. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Nora. Christine. Council members, if I could get you guys to come on down. If I could pull you all up front, we'll get a picture, we'll get the screen too. We'll get the council members in behind. You know, the one thing, when they went through this orientation, so before every class started, they had a chance for about 15 minutes to ask me questions. And I can tell you, I got stumped more than once. So, and I had to call on backup from either, you know, Assistant City Manager Brinkley or May or Stubing. So I appreciate what you all put into it. Congratulations. We wish you all the best on your future, and we hope we get you back for mayor council.
All right, great. If I could have everyone looking up here, please, and if anyone's, please wait to take photos until afterwards so we can get the group photo, please. Thank you. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, look up here. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. And then anyone wants to get a group photo for your first ladies? Any other photos?
Good, thank y'all. Congratulations. Thank you, Paulina. Give everybody a chance to get settled before we start our second recognition. Chandra, I'm going to ask you to come down. Courtney Peel? Okay, perfect. And I'm going to ask you guys, this is Public Service Recognition Week, and I'm going to let you guys introduce it.
Thank you, Mayor. Hello, everyone. Courtney and myself are honored to accept the proclamation on behalf of the employees of the City of Sugar Land. Each and every day, we have the pleasure of witnessing all of our employees' great accomplishments and achievements, especially during the difficult and unprecedented times. Our employees continue to work to find innovative solutions for complex issues. So on today, this day and their hard work does not go unnoticed. So on today and all this week, we honor them during Public Service Recognition Week, and we thank them for everything that they do every day and all year, and especially on today and during Public Service Recognition Week. Thank you.
And we've got a proclamation, Public Service Recognition Week, May 2nd through 8th of 2021. Whereas since 1985, Public Service Recognition Week is celebrated beginning on the first Sunday of May to honor the people who serve our nation as federal, state, county, local, and tribal government employees. And whereas throughout the nation and the world, public servants use this occasion to educate others about the work they do and why they have chosen public service careers, as well as the many ways government services make life better for all of us. Whereas City of Sugar Land employees are on the front lines ensuring the safety and security of our community and providing important services to our citizens, such as traffic management, safe streets and sidewalks, superior water quality, and enforcement of our codes and ordinances that keep our community one of America's best. Our public servants deserve thanks for working diligently on our behalf, doing important work that positively affects us every day. And whereas public safety employees make up about 1/2 of the city's employee in the fire, EMS, police, and dispatch departments. The other half of our workforce includes employees in departments such as city administration, communications, engineering, planning, public affairs, public works, information technology, finance, human resources, permits and inspections, environmental and neighborhood services, city attorney, city secretary, Department of Innovation, Economic Development, and the Sugar Land Regional Airport. We have a little over now 820 employees that are absolutely dedicated to the citizens of Sugar Land, and we want to thank you for your dedication. John. Come on, Dad. Hey, we'll get a picture with Chandra. We're going to get you all over in the middle. Well, here. And then we'll get the council members in behind.
Are you looking great? We're right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Last one. 1, 2, 3. All right, great. Thank you.
Our third recognition is National Economic Development Week, which is May 9th through the 15th. We've got, oh, here we go. We've got Elizabeth Huff and the Economic Development Group. Come on up, Elizabeth, and introduce everybody. Elizabeth is our Director of Economic Development.
Thank you all tonight. So wanted to say thank you for this proclamation and recognition of our team. We have several of us that are virtual and should be popping up. And then in person, we've got Tammy Korb, our Executive Assistant, Devin Rodriguez, our Assistant Director of Economic Development, Alba Pinate Johnson, John Soriano. We've got Jessica Hubble, Whitney Williams, Cam Yardy, Michaela Ortega, Mary Reduta, and Melissa Raju. During Economic Development Week, we seek to raise public awareness around our efforts to improve the quality of life of our residents for future and current generations. Also want to take the opportunity during Economic Development and National Tourism Week to recognize each and every one of you and thank you for all that you have done and continue to do for Sugar Land. This last year has been extremely challenging, but I am so proud of all that we have accomplished. Also, thank you to the city for establishing the foundation that you have for us to build upon.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Let me read the proclamation. National Economic Development Week, May 9th through the 15th. Whereas the International Economic Development Council created Economic Development Week in 2016 with the goal of increasing awareness for local programs that create jobs, advance career development opportunities, and increase the quality of life in communities everywhere. And whereas economic development is the intentional practice of improving a community's economic well-being and quality of life, and includes a broad range of activities to attract, create, and retain jobs, and to foster a resilient, pro-growth tax base and an infusive economy. And whereas National Economic Development Week is a celebration of economic development and the thousands of men and women in North America who promote economic well-being and quality of life for their communities by creating, retaining, and expanding jobs that facilitate growth, enhance wealth, and provide a stable tax base, as well as stimulate and incubate entrepreneurism in order to help establish the next generation of new businesses. And whereas through National Economic Development Week, the International Economic Development Council seeks to raise public awareness of economic development and increase confidence in economic development employees who are dedicated to improving the quality of life for present and future generations. Elizabeth, congratulations to you and your team. You know, one thing that I'd like to say to y'all personally, come on up. You know, with the pandemic last year, we relied really wholly on you all to outreach to all our small businesses, our restaurants, our entrepreneurs, large businesses. You guys were the lifeline to them. And we provided financial incentives through the CARES money that came through, and you guys were on the front lines of that. So thank you for that effort. I mean, it was an extraordinary effort. We've talked about the success. We're going to talk about it some more later, but I wanted to recognize you guys in front of everybody because you were the ones that made this happen, you and your team. So thanks for what you all did through the pandemic, not just through National Economic Development Week. Thank you. Let's get you guys up this way. And they were busy. They had 5 babies last year too, so. That stimulated the economy. That's nice.
All right, looking great. Right here, please. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Last one. 1, 2, 3. All right, great.
Thank you. Last but not least, we have National Police Week, May 9th through the 15th. And I'm going to ask Eric Robbins, our Chief of Police, and Michelle Allen, our Assistant Chief of Police, to introduce the topic for us.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Good evening. Just want to, first of all, thank you for the support. We'd like to say National Night Out, May 15th, has been celebrated since 1962 when President Kennedy put this into effect. It is to honor police officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty or some serious injury in the line of duty. Often when we think about officers and getting killed in the line of duty, we think about gun battles and whatnot, but often officers get killed by vehicle accidents, heart attacks, strokes, and those kind of things. So we see that from time to time, and we always have to stop and think about these officers. So we just, again, want to say thank you for your support. Although we've had some officers who've passed away from serious injuries, illnesses, we've only had one officer in the history of Sugar Land Police Department that was killed in the line of duty, and that was Sergeant Ron Slockett in 1987. Doing what we consider as a routine traffic stop on Highway 90 on July the 4th, he stopped someone who was actually up to some really no good hostage situation and shot that officer and killed him in the line of duty. So our hearts and prayers are always with their family. And again, Chief Allen will talk about what we will do next week to honor those officers, but we just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
First off, I just want to make mention of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial that's in Washington, D.C. as well as the Texas Peace Officer Memorial that's in Austin. And they do have events there every year, and if y'all do have an opportunity to ever stop by and participate in that, I would highly encourage that. Those are very touching ceremonies there. So we actually today are participating with Fort Bend County for a countywide law enforcement memorial service. And then next week at the police department, we will have events such as laying of the wreath, the roll call of fallen officers, and a 21-gun salute. So hopefully you'll have a chance to stop by and see that as well.
Proclamation. Office of the Mayor, National Police Week, May 9th through the 15th. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated May 9th through the 15th, 2021 as National Police Week, and whereas the members of the Sugar Land Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Sugar Land, and whereas it is important that all the citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their police department, and that members of the police department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, protecting people against violence and disorder, and protecting the innocent against deception, oppression, and intimidation. And whereas the City of Sugar Land Police Department has grown to be a modern and scientific law enforcement agency which increasingly provides a vital public service. And a proclamation under our hand. Eric, Michelle, thank you. You know, the thing that I tell you about our police department, we've got a community police department. Our officers, our men and women that are officers, our police officers, are out in the community. They're touching our residents every day. It's the reason I believe that we don't have the issues here that they have in Houston and Dallas and San Antonio. I think our residents not only know and appreciate and embrace our officers, the men and women that are officers, but they appreciate the services they provide. So Eric, Michelle, to the entire police department, you've got our gratitude. Council members, Mike, if you guys would come down, let's get a picture.
All right, great. Everyone on your right here, please. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Good. Thank you.
Item number 2, the public comment phase. Public comment is reserved for anybody in the public that wants to speak on one of the items on the agenda. Thomas, do we have anybody?
No, sir. Nobody signed up.
Okay. We're going to move on from item number 2, public comment, to item number 3, canvass the election. 3A, first and final consideration. Consideration of an action on City of Sugar Land ordinance number 2231, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sugar Land, Texas, canvassing the returns and declaring the results of an election held on May 1st, 2021, to elect a council member to single member District 1 and 4. I'm going to read the ordinance to you. Ordinance number 2231, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sugar Land, Texas, canvassing the returns and the results of an election held on May 1st, 2021, to elect a council member to single member District 1 and 4. Whereas on February the 2nd, 2021, City Council approved ordinance number 2222, ordering an election to be held on May 1st, 2021 for the purpose of electing district council members for districts 1, 2, 3, and 4. And whereas on March 2nd, 2021, City Council approves ordinance number 2225, declaring election of unopposed candidates for single member districts 2 and 3. That's Nashad and Stewart. Whereas notice the election was given as required by law and the returns of the election have been made by the proper officers and canvassed by the City Council. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Sugar Land, Texas, Section 1, that the election held on May 1st, 2021 the following votes were cast for the following candidates. Councilmember District 1, in this order: Suzanne Watley, 710 total votes. Donna Batten Moho, 705 total votes. Councilmember District 4, Saki Joseph, 455 total votes. Carol McCutcheon, 1,951 total votes. Adopted on first and final consideration on May 4th, 2021, in compliance with Section 2.09A2 of the City Charter. I'll make the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I've got a second by Carol McCutcheon. Any further discussion? Hand vote, please, because I'm standing down here. All in favor? Aye. Hopefully it will pass 7-0. Steve, I saw you up there. And now, before I bring down and swear the council members in, Steve, I wanted to recognize you. Steve Porter has served as the District 1 council member for 8 years. He's done so unselfishly. Matter of fact, what people don't know is when I have something that I need to talk through, the two people I go to are Steve Porter and Mike Goodwin. And Steve, on a number of occasions, where I've always appreciated about Steve is he doesn't pull any punches. I've had Steve tell me more than once, Mary, you really screwed that up, and you need to fix it. And I've taken that to heart, and I've done just that. But I've appreciated, Steve, your counsel. You've been, a foundational member of the city council. You've served with integrity. You've served with honor. Nancy supported you the whole way. I couldn't be prouder of the two of you. What can I say? Thank you, Steve. And now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. I will keep it short. First, let me thank Nishad for his kind prayer. Very much appreciated. I'll take all the prayer I can get. First, in all ways, I want to thank both my wife, Nancy, and my father, God, for their unfailing encouragement, support, and also their kind but frank feedback when I needed it. I truly believe that without it, these last 8 years would have been more likely to be about me than about our great city. And that would have been a tragedy. It has also been my distinct privilege to have been allowed to represent the oldest and most diverse district in Sugar Land, its residents and businesses. I want to thank you for your trust and your support these 8 years. And it's also been my privilege to have served with not only two absolutely great business professionals and leaders in Mayors Jimmy Thompson and Joe Zimmerman, but also to have served with two world-class city managers, Alan Bogart and Mike Goodwin. Our city has truly been blessed with these leaders. I'm also thankful to have worked with many city council members who cared more about the city than their own agendas. I want to thank my colleagues on this and prior councils and recognize that their friendship and support was invaluable in helping me to address issues and challenges in District 1. I pray that God will continue to raise up servant leaders for this city. And last but certainly not least, it has been a true and special delight to have worked with our champion employees who are dedicated each day and night to delivering world-class services to our residents. You are the real deal. And I have seen over and over that you are not here just for a job, but that you genuinely care for our city. And as a result, you have materialized the Sugar Land way our residents have experienced. And oh, by the way, without your first-class support of me, I could not have been effective in service to District 1. And so I thank each and every one of you sincerely. You have my very best wishes for an even brighter future. Mayor, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Say again?
Well done, Steve. Well done. And now it's time for the oath of office. Item number 4, oath of office. 1A, administer the oath of office to elected council members for District 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll start with District 4, if you'll come down, please. District 3, District 2, and last but not least, District 1. Suzanne. You raise your right hand. I, in your name, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of your position of the City of Sugar Land, County of Fort Bend, State of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, and the charter and ordinances of the city. And I furthermore solemnly swear that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, or promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or valuable thing, or promised any public office or employment as a reward to secure my appointment or the confirmation thereof. So help me God. Congratulations, council members.
One. She's number one.
Let's start with 4. Start with 4. Congratulations, Carol.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. As most of you know, I'm Carol McCutcheon, Sugar Land City Council Member, District 4. I'm really excited to be reelected to my 3rd term on City Council with 81% of the vote. I won every precinct in District 4 with at least 60% of the vote. This overwhelming vote of confidence assures me that my constituents see the work that I've accomplished on their behalf. First and foremost, I would like to thank my incredible husband of 33 years, Joe, for his support. Without the sacrifices he's made, I wouldn't have been able to serve at the level that I do. And also, he was my #1 campaign volunteer, so thank you, Joe. I'd also like to thank the many people who helped with my campaign in so many different ways. And finally, I would like to thank the voters of District 4, because your vote is your voice. Councilmember Porter, it has been my honor and privilege to serve with you for the past 4 years. Councilmember Watley, congratulations on your election. Councilmembers Kermally and Jacobson, congratulations on your 2nd terms. I look forward to working with all my colleagues on council to keep Sugar Land a wonderful place to call home. God bless Sugar Land, God bless Texas, and God bless America. Thank you.
Stuart?
Thank you, Mayor. 100%. First of all, I'd like to thank all the people who didn't run against me. And I'd like you to consider not running against me next time. I want to tell you something. I love serving on City Council. It's really an honor and a privilege to get to do this kind of work. I've spent a lot of time over the years doing community service and community work, but this is the most rewarding for me. But of course, it's not about me, it's about the stuff that we can all accomplish together. And working with this group and working with the city employees and all the volunteers in the city, it's just plain fun, and I love doing it, and thanks for the opportunity to continue doing it.
Congratulations, Stuart. Rashawn.
Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to stand in front of you as I also got 100% of the vote. But I was disappointed when we called off the elections for Stuart's district and my district because my son Aaron was going to get to cast his first vote for me at the age of 18. But you know what? I don't need Aaron's vote for 3 more years. But I love my son to death. But it's been an honor to serve the city for the last 2 years. These 2 years have just flown by. Couldn't have flown by if it wasn't without the leadership of our mayor, this great city council that I've had the pleasure of working with for the past 2 years, and we continue to learn every day. But just look around yourself. We have a beautiful city. So why wouldn't you want to give back to a beautiful city like this? We don't have many things that we have to fix in our city, but still it's an honor to be a city council member. I'm humbled. I'm honored that I'm going to be a city council member for the next 3 years. And I have to thank the lovely wife that is standing right in front of me, Narman. Without Narman, I'm no one. My beautiful sister, Anar, and my sister-in-law, Mina, in the back, who are my 3 CEOs. I've always called them my CEOs for the past 2 years when I started this campaign journey. And please don't run against me in 3 years. Maybe Fareed's told me he's going to hire someone to come live in District 2 and run against me in 3 years. So we're going to have to watch him, Mayor, in the corner. But thank you very much. I love my city, and thank you to our staff.
You're going to have to watch him, not me. Suzanne, congratulations.
Okay, y'all. Can y'all believe this? I don't even know where to begin. First of all, they told me not to say anything for the first year, and I'm already talking. But I see some of you out here, and I don't even know how to begin to thank you. This has been a crazy race, and it has changed my life, our life, and I hope I can help change some of your lives. Listen, we know now the power of a vote. We saw it with landslide Amy, but I think now we just told everybody how much a vote means. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the hard work of my team, everybody out there who crunched numbers, who walked with me, and who was there with me. But you guys, my husband was there every second of every moment. So as much as I love you, District 1, for everything you did, this guy still tops my list. Thank you so much.
Come on, down. This is your city council. I'd also like to recognize a former council member. Councilmember Amy Mitchell's in the audience. I didn't see her earlier. Welcome, Amy. Welcome back. All right, let's do the pictures. And then you guys, I think there's probably a lot of people in the audience that want to get pictures. We'll go ahead and recess. We'll recess for 15 minutes, so we'll reconvene back at 6:30. And everybody get whatever pictures they want. William, you already had your time.
Sorry, Mayor.
All right, we're going to reconvene. Reconvene Sugar Land City Council. It is now 6:27. We're going to move to item number 5, the consent agenda. We're going to take all the items on the consent agenda as one motion. Move approval by Jacobson. Do I have a second? Second. Do I have a second by Lane? Vote this time, please. Y'all are anxious to get off and go wherever you're going. And we have a 7-0 vote. Thank you, Council. Item number 6, contracts and agreements, 6A. Consideration of an action on authorizing the execution of a standard tax abatement agreement by and between the City of Sugar Land, Texas, and API Realty LLC as owner and Acredo Packaging as tenant, pertaining to 1, reinvestment zone number 2018-01 for 17.2163 acre tract of land located south of 12682 Cardinal Meadow Drive in Sugar Land, Texas. And item number 2, development of a 2-story, 83,000 square foot building that includes covered parking on level 1 and approximately 40,000 square feet of office space on the second level, with a total estimated cost of $9,500,000. We have Alba Panetti Johnson, Business Development Manager. Alba, did I get it right?
You did.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank goodness. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'll be presenting the proposed tax abatement agreement for this project. First, I would like to recognize Mr. Chetan Nagandi from Acredo Packaging, who is with us this evening. And hey, Chetan. The department utilizes multiple resources and tools to accomplish its mission, specifically our primary industries division, which focuses on business retention, expansion, and attraction. The project you're about to hear about is one example of how the department is able to support one of our existing businesses through a value-added incentive. Next, please. In regards to tax abatement agreements, the Sugar Land City Council has the option to offer companies property tax abatements to encourage economic development within Sugar Land. The city does not lose money through such value-added tax abatements, as the development will not have occurred without the tax abatement. The projects result in significant property tax value and revenue to the city after the tax abatement expires, which has a maximum of 10-year term. In addition, economic growth generated by these agreements fully benefit the local school district, as they do not participate in abatement. Next, please. Okay, so a little bit about the process of a tax abatement agreement. It includes the creation of a reinvestment zone that involves a public hearing and first reading of an ordinance, and a second reading and approval of the reinvestment zone. For this project, the reinvestment zone was created previously for Acredo's Phase 3 project. It also includes a 30-day posting of the tax abatement agreement that for this project posted on April 1st, and finally the approval of the tax abatement agreement. Next, please. So about Acredo Packaging manufactures and supplies sustainable, high added value, flexible packaging, predominantly for the prepackaged foods and consumer product markets in North America. Their corporate headquarters and manufacturing facility are here in Sugar Land, and currently Acredo has approximately 500 employees in Sugar Land. Next, please. This project includes the construction of a 2-story, approximately 83,000 square foot building with covered parking on level 1 and approximately 40,000 square feet of office on level 2. It also includes an estimated capital investment of $9.5 million. Next, please. The reinvestment zone associated with this project totals 17.2163 acres. It is located adjacent to 12682 Cardinal Meadow Drive in the Sugar Land Business Park. And reinvestment zone number 2018-01 was previously created under ordinance number 2128 during Acredo's Phase 3 project, like I mentioned before. Next, please. The proposed tax abatement agreement is for a term of 10 years. The performance obligations include the construction of the 2-story, approximately 83,000 square foot building with covered parking on level 1 and approximately 40,000 square feet of office on level 2. It involves an initial investment of approximately $9.5 million and 30 new jobs. In addition to these requirements, the agreement will also require the retention of 525 jobs at the Acredo campus through 2031 and $3 million in inventory on the previous and adjacent improvements within reinvestment zone 2018-01. This project will also bring the total capital investment within the reinvestment zone to $40 million. The tax abatement is for 55% over 10 years, and this does align with the tax abatement guidelines renewed by City Council on May 15, 2018. If the agreement is terminated, all property taxes abated plus interest must be repaid to the city. Next, please. The proposed tax abatement agreement has been reviewed by the City Council's EDC and by City Council during executive session. Staff recommends approval of this tax abatement agreement, and if approved, Acredo Packaging will begin construction immediately and complete the project by the third quarter of 2022. Next, please. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Alba. I noticed Cheaton, welcome. Thank you, sir. Tell the Wynn family we appreciate their investment in our community. Questions from the council members? I'll make the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second, Mayor.
Got a second by Kermali. You vote at this time, please. And it's a 7-0 vote. Cheaton, all the best to you guys. We look forward to the ribbon cutting.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Alba.
I just want to give a word of thanks to the EDC, under the leadership of Elizabeth and the team, and good to see them being recognized today as well, amongst other service people. So thank you all, and the council members, thanks as well. Just thank you for your partnership.
Thank you, Cheaton. Item number 6, contracts and agreements. Wait a minute. Item number 7, public hearings. 7A, public hearing. Receiving hearing all persons desiring to be heard of the proposed change in zoning from the interim standard single-family residential R1I to standard single-family residential R1 or zero lot line single-family residential R1Z for property in the New Territory community located west of Telfair Development, south of US 90A, east of Alcorn Bayou, and north of the Brazos River. We've got Laura Waller, our planner. Laura, welcome.
Good evening. So I bring before you the final step in the annexation of the New Territory area. We'll be following this up in a few months with Greatwood, but we're going to start with New Territory. This was annexed in December of 2017, and at that annexation was interimly zoned R1, which is our standard interim residential zoning. So tonight before you, we'll have the permanent residential zoning for all of the single-family homes in this area. That does include 50 residential subdivision plots, 14 right-of-way dedications, and 18 other parcels that have been identified by deed. Next slide. So this is bounded by the city limits on the north and west, the Brazos River on the south, and Telfair on the east. It does include areas that are already zoned B1 and B2 along the Grand Parkway at major intersections. Those have already been permanently zoned based on how they were built and developed. And there are 2 subdivisions within the residential areas, Sunset Cove and Stonehaven, that are proposed to be R1Z, which is the zero lot line single family, as that is how they were platted and built. Next slide. So this is the proposed zoning map. Everything you see in yellow is proposed to be R1, permanent standard single family. And the 2 plots in blue are the proposed zero lot line single family homes. That is Stonehaven there that backs up to Grand Parkway, and Sunset Cove along Homeward Way. Next slide. The future land use map designates this area as suburban neighborhood use, which does perfectly align with R1 and R1Z zoning districts. Next slide. The commission did review this on 4/13/21. There were no speakers present at the public hearing, and then they moved forward with consideration and action and passed unanimously on 4/22. There have been no inquiries since the time of the last meeting, and commission did pass this unanimously. Next slide. The public hearing for tonight was advertised via postcard that was sent to property owners and the HOA. Staff also did create a web page for this rezoning with frequently asked questions and more detailed information, including a map that had both the legal plat name as well as the subdivisions according to the HOA and the signs that are made and built at the front of the subdivisions. as the legal information does not always line up perfectly. We also published notification in the newspaper. We did receive very minimal inquiries, and they were primarily unrelated to zoning, typically about other issues. There have been no inquiries since the time of the last meeting, and staff is not aware of any opposition at all. Next slide. This is the postcard that was sent. This was the first time sending out zoning public hearing notifications via postcard, so it was a little bit of a new adventure. But due to the volume, we sent out about 5,000 postcards like this. So due to that volume, we tried to limit the amount of paper and printing that we were sending out. So we summarized a lot of the frequently asked questions that we get, as well as actions that might need to be taken here on the front of the postcard, as well as a basic letter describing what temporary zoning is, as well as what the rezoning really is doing for the residents, as well as included links to both the website that was set up, as well as my personal email and phone information for any questions. And again, as I mentioned, we got very minimal inquiries. Next slide. So your points for consideration this evening, permanent zoning is required by the state, and it's the final step in the annexation process. The proposed zoning does match the platted and built environment, as well as the HOA restrictions. And the proposed zoning does match up with the future land use map and comprehensive plan category of suburban neighborhood. Next slide. Therefore, staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission do recommend approval of ordinance number 2230 for the rezoning from interim zoning to permanent R1 and R1Z zoning for the new territory area. Staff is happy to answer any questions after the conclusion of the public hearing.
I'd ask council members to hold their questions till after the public hearing. At this time, we're going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak on this particular item?
We have no signups, Mr. Mayor.
No one signed up?
No, sir.
Going once, going twice. We're going to close the public hearing. We're going to move to first consideration of an action on City of Sugar Land ordinance number 2230, an ordinance of the City Council, City of Sugar Land, Texas, providing for a change of zoning from interim standard single family R1I district to permanent standard single family residential R1 district or zero lot line single family residential R1Z district for property located in the new territory community, which is located west of the Telfair development, south of US 90, east of Alcorn Bayou, and north of the Brazos River. Any questions of Laura? Do I have a motion?
Motion approved.
Got a motion by McCutcheon. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second by Kermali. If you vote at this time, please. And it passes 7-0. Thank you, council members. Item number 8, ordinances and resolutions. 8A, first consideration. Consideration and action on City of Sugar Land ordinance number 2228. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sugar Land, Texas, prohibiting the use of designated groundwater from beneath certain property located at 500 Industrial Boulevard, Sugar Land, Texas, and supporting certification of a municipal setting designation by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, TCEQ, providing a penalty clause and providing a severability clause. Katie Clayton, our assistant, can you pronounce that, Katie? Assistant Director of Public Works. I was doing so good, Katie.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Tonight, I'm bringing an ordinance of support for a municipal setting designation for the property located at 500 Industrial Boulevard. I'll start with an overview of what a municipal setting designation is, moving on to the applicant information, the review of the MSD report, and finally the recommendations. Next slide, please. Municipal setting designation is a process with the state, specifically the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, for sites that have a history of various uses, including industrial activities, and due to the processes of those industrial activities have the potential for contamination of the soil and groundwater. Through the MSD process, TCEQ reviews environmental studies of the site and gives an official designation certifying that groundwater on the site is prohibited from use. So if there's contamination on the site, it prohibits new wells being drilled to prevent the pathway of human exposure. Part of the process allows municipalities to participate and to pass ordinances to restrict the use of the property's groundwater, again, to protect that public against exposure to any contaminated groundwater. Next slide, please. This applicant that has come forward is located at 500 Industrial Boulevard. It is approximately 24 acres. It began with industrial use in the 1960s with the Baylor Company, and then National Oil Well Varco beginning in 2000. Both companies utilized the site in manufacturing for the petroleum industry, including braking systems and generators, as well as electrical components. During that time, it was registered with TCEQ as a generator of industrial and hazardous waste. Next slide, please. In 2018, due to those on-site activities that I just described, the site entered into TCEQ's corrective action program. And as part of the program, there was extensive environmental sampling was conducted. In review with TCEQ, it was determined that the appropriate course of action was to pursue this MSD, again removing the pathway for exposure. The analysis found shallow groundwater contamination less than 70 feet. Next slide, please. As part of the MSD process, the property owners submitted a report to the city for our review, and the city hired a third-party reviewer, WSP, to review the application as well as TCEQ reports. That assessment included both groundwater and soil sampling through 16 temporary and permanent wells, and identified several chemicals of concern in that shallow groundwater bearing unit less than 70 feet. Next slide, please. After review of the application, WSP concluded that the proposed MSD does not pose a potential risk to the city's wells for a number of reasons. First, that the city's closest groundwater well is over a half a mile southwest of the site and is much deeper than the shallow contamination that was found. Our first screens start at 630 feet and extend well beyond 1,800 feet. Secondly, the groundwater gradient, or the way that the groundwater flows in our region, is to the southeast, so it's moving away from the city wells located nearby. Additionally, there are multiple clay layers between this shallow contamination and the city's where the city pulls groundwater from, and these clay layers prevent that downward migration of the contaminant. And then lastly, when the city constructs our wells, we protect them in a number of different ways from shallow contamination, including utilizing cement and steel casings. Next slide, please. The Public Works Department recommends that City Council considers the first reading of ordinance number 2228 in support of the MSD application. In addition to WSP's review, TCEQ's review of all the reports, find that this shallow groundwater contamination does not pose a risk to the city's wells. Through this ordinance, we are removing the pathway of exposure by prohibiting use of on-site groundwater, so the property will no longer or will not be able to use a groundwater well for any use on the site. And therefore, the city will be the water provider for all potable and non-potable needs. Lastly, I'll note that the city is currently the service provider and has been for many years to the property. Lastly, the second reading and approval of the ordinance will be brought at the next council meeting on May 18th. Next slide, please. I'll open it up for any clarifying questions.
Questions of Katie? William, go ahead.
Katie, I have never read through anything like this before. I certainly understand we want to keep the community safe. Is there a cleanup? Is there a cleanup process that happens? Is the city a part of that? Is it a property owner thing that cleans this up to where it's not us just, kicking the can down the street and our community stays safe?
Sure. So this is a process that TCEQ is very involved with, and they, from start to finish, work with the property owner to decide, to review what the contamination is and decide the best course of action. And in this case, TCEQ's recommendation, because the groundwater is shallow and the groundwater contamination is shallow, that the best course of action is for the city to remove that pathway and for the city to be the provider. So in this case, it is between the property owner and TCEQ. And so while they've removed all of the facilities on site, that is the remediation that TCEQ supports, as well as this MSD.
Thank you. And in response, Mary, I know you probably know this, but so the best way we keep our community safe is simply make sure we're not pulling groundwater from that. Beyond that, it's a private property issue, correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, it's actually, having cleaned up a number of sites,
okay,
you can do more harm by trying to clean them up because you're not going to get all the chemicals.
Okay.
And by getting all that stirred up than you can by leaving everything in place. We're not at risk of our wells, so our wells don't screen those sands. Okay. So I guess what TCEQ is saying, through Katie is, you guys are far enough away. The plume's is not heading into your groundwater supply, so leave it alone. Don't
Fabulous.
touch it.
I knew you would know. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions? I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Kermali. You vote at this time, please. And it's approved unanimously, 7-0. Thank you, Katie. Item number 8B, consideration of an action on City of Sugar Land Resolution number 2105, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sugar Land, Texas, approving a non-construction advance funding agreement with the State of Texas acting through the Texas Department of Transportation for a congestion air quality off-system project, CIP number CMU 2004. High-side communication improvements project, making this resolution a part of the agreement and repealing resolution number 2103. We have Andrea Broughton, our assistant city engineer. Andrea.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm back here with you this evening. I know we brought this previously on April 6th, but I'm going to give you a little background of why we're back here. If you recall, we brought the resolution number 2103 to you on April 6th. Prior to preparing that and submitting that for council review and approval, we coordinated with TxDOT on this proposed resolution and the language included therein. They reviewed it and had no further comments and approved it, and therefore we did bring it on April 6th. Council reviewed and voted and approved that. Now, once we did get that approval from council, we secured the signed and executed resolution and forwarded that on to TxDOT as planned, and the process was set forth for inclusion in the advanced funding agreement for execution. But it was a surprise to us. We did submit that. TxDOT Contract Services Division determined that resolution that we passed, 2103, could not be accepted due to the reference of a maximum local participation cost language that was included in the resolution. Next slide. Just for clarification, TxDOT did not request this revision prior to the original resolution coming before you on April 6th. Otherwise, we obviously would have addressed that comment, but based on the comments after approval of this resolution, we did get that revised, and we deleted that reference as requested by them for the maximum local participation cost, and the remaining content of the resolution remained unchanged. Next slide. Again, this is just a brief snapshot of the 8 locations throughout the city that are involved in this project that will receive the upgraded equipment installed at these locations. Next slide. Just to give a little bit more detail on the advanced funding agreement and what it's for and what is included in this agreement. If you recall, staff had the opportunity to apply for and get funded from a federal level and get administered by TxDOT on a local level for the improvement and replacement of existing equipment at the local intersections. The awarded project cost was $2,339,943. This was a 80-20 grant to the city. When you have an 80-20 grant, the federal cost share is the 80%, which they would provide a little over $1.8 million, and our local cost share would be less than $500,000, which is 20% of the total awarded project cost. The period of this agreement is 3 years from the time of execution. The scope of work for this agreement is to purchase and install the equipment to upgrade the communication systems for the management of the wireless network infrastructure throughout the city. In order to receive this grant, we had staff, including myself, receive the certification by attending and successfully completing a local government project procedures training. Without the certification, receiving and disbursement of these funds is not, we would not be able to do this, so that was a requirement of this grant. A little bit more specifications of what has to occur. The city will purchase and install this equipment per the AFA, and the city will provide the state quarterly status reports on these installations. Next slide. Also, the reason why we have to pass a resolution that is acceptable to TxDOT is that according to the advanced funding agreement, it's required when receiving grant funds, and the AFA must be approved and entered into by resolution from the city. The state will be responsible for securing the federal and state share of the funding required for the project, and the city will be responsible to submit our request to TxDOT for reimbursement for the materials purchased as part of this project. Next slide. Just to give a look ahead on the project schedule, with the approval of the AFA, the subsequent actions will be as follows. A CIP budget amendment request to reflect the federal cost share of the $1.8 million will occur on May 18th, the City Council meeting on May 18th. Also on that meeting, we are going to bring recommendation for the approval of the contract agreements to purchase this hardware, and then also to install the hardware. Fabrication and procurement of the hardware should begin in late spring, early summer, and the installation of the hardware should begin towards the end of the summer 2021. Next slide. So with that background and information shared with Council, we would like to request approval for repeal of the resolution number 2103 from April 6th and approval of resolution number 2105 that we bring forth to you today. And I'm available for any questions or clarifications. Thank you.
Any questions from the council? Do I have a motion to approve? I've got a motion by Jacobson. Do I have a second? By McCutcheon? I have a second by McCutcheon.
Yes.
Okay. Vote at this time, please. And it's a 7-0 vote. Thank you, council members. Item number 9, City Council City Manager Reports. 9A, City Council Member Reports. Jennifer, let's start with you.
attended by Zoom the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, which was very nice. Their project proposal was to try to get people encouraged to get out and get vaccinated. So they're going to submit that idea to staff and see what they think about it. In preparation for the meeting, I was pulling numbers off of Fort Bend County Hub and Texas Dishes, and was quite a bit of a discrepancy with the number of people who had gotten their first round of shots. The number for the county was off by about 292,000 versus what was on the Texas Dishes site. So what I was told is there's many different levels of verification to verify who's gotten their first shot, but just wanted you to keep that in your back pocket and to know that when someone gets their shot, they have 24 hours to submit that, enter that information in so that we know. So from what I could tell, we were doing pretty good with getting the word out and people coming in and getting their shots. It looks about almost 50% have come out and gotten their first round of shots. So it looks like we're doing a good job and everybody's recovering well from getting vaccinated. So I hope we can all move forward and get going, getting vaccinated.
Thank you. Carol.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended the Avalon HOA meeting, and we talked about the upcoming capital improvement projects in Avalon and also public safety. And then I attended the Fort Bend Subsidence, well, it's basically the mayor, Fort Bend County Mayor and Council Members Association meeting on the Fort Bend Subsidence District, along with the mayor and Council Member Ferguson. It was a very informative meeting. Thank you.
Councilmember Jacobson. Councilmember Kamali.
Mayor, I attended the Eagle Court of Honor ceremony for Boy Scout Troop 731. 5 young men earned their Eagle Scout badge, and the minimum requirement's only 21 badges. And all 5 of these young men, Abel John, Sean Parikh, Connor Self, Rohit Satish, and Dominique Weber, all had over 100 medals that they earned during their time frame of 7 years onward. So it's a really, really nice outdoor ceremony in our neighboring city of Missouri City, but very nice ceremony there. I also attended with our Congressman Troy Nels drive-by iftar hosted by Ailings, where 300 meals were distributed yesterday between the hours of 6 and 7 p.m. along with Congressman, I'm sorry, I just gave you a promotion. Well, I almost called you a congressman. Council member Ferguson and Council member McCutcheon as well. That's it.
William.
Yes, sir. Mayor, it's been another fun week attending events with fellow council members. This community is so amazing, and I had to do a shout out for teachers this week, mainly because my wife is a teacher. It is Teacher Appreciation Week, and I am proud of all of our teachers. I'm proud of our homeschool parents that take the time to teach our children, and evidence of that was the event that we had earlier tonight where 60 of our youth have decided to engage their lives even through the COVID to learn more about city government. I'm so excited about that, and I could not wait to say that. And I have to do a shout out for our city employees. I cannot tell you how many awesome compliments that I've had over the last 3 or 4 days about how far out of their way our city employees are going to serve the community. And this is to all of them, but I'm going to direct it through Mike. Mike, thank you for the extra effort. It's just fabulous when I get messages, and I want to just shout out, but at the end of the day, I want to also say, well, that's just how we do it, right? But anyhow, thank you for all that, and thank you, teachers.
Thank you, William. Suzanne.
I have nothing yet, but just wait. Thank you.
All right, and I guess I'm bringing up the rear. A little bit about the Fort Bend Mayor and Council Member Association meeting. The reason that we had the Fort Bend Subsidence District there and actually the Harris-Galveston Coastal Subsidence District was we were coming up on a requirement in 2025 to convert to another 30% of surface water. For the city of Sugar Land, that means another $100 million in investment. Our staff, through research they've done, Chris Stubing, Katie, and others, are convinced that the data does not support that. So we are now working with both Harris Galveston and Fort Bend to see if we can push back that date. That's the importance of that. You need to join us on May the 20th. Astros AAA ball. The Sugar Land Skeeters are going to open up in Constellation Field. Thanks to the hard work of Miss May. Miss May, take a bow. We also have, if you'll continue to follow Smart Financial Center, there are some recent bookings at Smart Financial. It was originally reported it was going to be sometime in September. I'm here to tell you that's not true. It's going to be earlier. So we need you to support Smart Financial also. That's my report. Michael, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of all of our employees, we wanted to thank Councilmember Porter for his service over the last 8 years. I'll have more comments at his reception, but the city is definitely better off because of his service. Also, on behalf of our employees, we want to congratulate Council Members Kamali, Jacobson, and McCutcheon on your reelection, and we look forward to working with you. And also congratulate Councilmember Watley on joining the team, and we definitely look forward to working alongside you. Couple of little things. I was invited by the Cullinan Conservancy to participate in their Big Sit Challenge, where you try to, Mayor, find the most species of birds in a 24-hour period of time. And so there was a lot of really smart people there, and we found 91, and I don't think I get credit for a single one, Mayor, but I was there for emotional support. And but
91's impressive, Mike.
Very impressive.
That's very impressive.
Very impressive. So that's a great group over
Was
there.
that the same bird you just named it 91 times?
No, Mayor, they can pick these things out from their sound. I mean, it's crazy.
Yes.
But very talented group. I had fun doing that. And also wanted to give a plug for our first Yappy Hour. So if you have a dog, come out to Palm Springs Dog Park this Thursday, 6 to 8. There'll be food trucks, and St. Arnold Brewery will be serving up some of the best local craft beer you can have. So please join us out
There
there.
you go, man. You and Joe need to get them out there.
Yep, that concludes my report, Mayor.
Yappy Hour in District 4. There we go. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mayor.
We got a motion by Kamali. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Going to adjourn at 7:07.